I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the video that I made yesterday about the divorce. Um, Someone left a comment, I can't remember what it said now off the top of my head, but I know it just sort of got me thinking. And that's why I made a sort of an instant video while I was out working, just to put things into perspective, you know, tell you what was going on with divorce and such like. But I wanted to add to that on how it made me feel at the time. Obviously, I got the text message on the Monday evening, and that was bad enough. That was truly, you know, probably one of the worst experiences of my life. You know, yeah. Anyway, so I'd locked myself away at work just to try and come to terms with it. You know, I wanted to work on my own, wanted to be left alone just to get on with what I had to do. And to be fair, you know, I was allowed that. On the Friday after work, I remember I got in my van and I drove up to a campsite and just, I don't know, just parked up, got the fire pit out and was sat waiting for it to get dark so I could light it. And I remember just scrolling through the phone as you do, you know, and then I tapped on the email icon and going through all the crap, you know, as you do every day. And I found this one about the divorce, and I think when I opened it up, it was, I'm trying to think of ways to describe the physical experience, what it was like. It was, I could feel my blood pressure going up, you know. It was like my whole body was ready to explode, you know. It was a horrible feeling. I remember my hands starting to shake. I got in the van and put my phone on the side, and that was the only way that I could read the email properly, because my hands were shaking too much. I had to put it on the table and just use my finger to scroll through it, and it was fucking horrible. It was just so horrible. I put the phone down for a minute. I went and fucking laid on the bed, and I was tearful, let's put it like that, you know, without going into too much detail. I was tearful. I remember I had to shut the door and lock myself in the van, make sure no one come near me, and, you know, I was fucking a wreck, you know. I was a wreck. But I did manage to compose myself. A little while later, I got back into the email, I clicked on the links and set up my account thing that you have to do, and, you know, it said that she had filed for divorce. Do I agree, or do I disagree or contest, or whatever it was? I can't remember now. But as I said yesterday, I didn't want to start some form of fight about it, you know. If she was that adamant that she wanted rid of me, why would I want to fight it? You know, because as much as I'd love to, you know, not have the divorce and stay together, and, or, you know, just give her a break from me and see how she felt. But she was that adamant, that fucking set on her decision to get rid of me. Why would I fight it? You know, I had to do the right thing, or what I think is the right thing, and just agree to it. You know, I had no choice. Because why would I want to try and fight for a woman that doesn't want me anyway? How could I, you know, even if she backtracked on that decision, how could I trust a person like that again, you know? But yeah, doing it, setting up that account and clicking agree to the divorce was probably one of the most awful things that I had to do. And on that Friday night of getting that email, I got another message from a company called Shipley, which is like a courier company thing where you and I can sign up for to this website, and you can transport goods from somebody's house to somebody else's house. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I got this message saying that a delivery was going to be coming to me. And obviously it was all my stuff that was stored down in Wales. And again, reading that was just like another blow to the heart. I mean, again, that was a feeling that fucking destroyed me. You know, I know the guy that was doing the delivery wanted to meet me at the other end to take delivery of it, but I couldn't deal with it. I let my son deal with it, and when it all arrived, he took it down to my garage and locked it all away, and it's still there to this day because I can't bring myself to go through any of it. You know, I can't, because I don't know what's in there. You know, I know there's some personal stuff, but is it like all the wedding stuff in there? You know, and I can't do it. Does she want that all gone as well? You know, so that's holding me back. I don't want to know what's in there. Again, it may sound fucking strange, but I cannot bear the thought that she's just thrown all of that stuff, what we made, all those memories of our wedding and such like. I can't believe she's put it all into bin bags, and that's what it is, by the way. It's all in fucking bin bags in my garage. So I don't know what's in there, and I can't bring myself to look right now. Maybe one day, yes, but at the moment I cannot do that. But that you know, the divorce email and this email from the company that was delivering the stuff, both on that Friday, was probably the lowest point, I think. Being dumped on the Monday obviously was fucking horrific via a text message. You know, it was really bad. But then so was the Friday, you know. And I as I'm talking about it now, it's like I'm getting all these feelings back. And you know as well as I do that I've been doing everything that I can to move forward, doing what I think is right, you know, eating a bit better, doing my walking, getting a bit of help. But sometimes it just doesn't change what's in there. I know I was going to make this all primary about the divorce, but it's all running around my head and I'm just getting it off my chest. It fucking sucks. And when you first get that email, or I guess even when you're dumped, it especially if you've been with someone for quite some time and you've grown with them, you know, with their family and your own children and such like I had stepchildren and my own children, and I've got grandchildren as well, and people I work with here all knew my wife as well, you know, and now it just makes me feel like I'm a failure, like I've not just failed myself, but failed my family as well, my children and friends and family, and I think about her family as well, you know, because most of them I got on all right with, apart from one or two, but, you know, it was all really nice, but now I know I won't get to speak to them again, and they must think poorly of me, and that hurts, man, that hurts a lot, you know. I've considered reaching out to them, but I just don't know whether it's the right thing to do. Do I just have to let go and wait and see what happens? But it does. It definitely made me feel like I'm a failure. You know, I know it probably sounds soppy, and I know there's people out there who are a lot tougher than me that have said, "Come on, man, grow a spine, fucking move on. She wasn't worth it." All that crap. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In my eyes, she was worth it, and he's worth it. You know, and you know, I sincerely, truly, hand on heart, hope that she's now going to be living her best life. Yeah, and I mean that. I do, of course I do. Someone left a comment about, do I think that, does she watch these videos? And I absolutely guarantee you that she does not. She doesn't do YouTube anyway, and I know for a fact, because I know her, even if she did, she wouldn't want to watch me go on about it. She wouldn't. You know, she needs to do what's right by her. So, no, I can 100% guarantee she doesn't watch, you know. But I do wish her all the best. And someone said about, you know, taking half of the house. When we got together, she already owned a property, right? I never did. I was private renting. We moved in together, which was her flat. And then she decided to sell the flat and buy a house in Wales. And that's what she did. She had worked long and hard to get her flat, and obviously bought the house in Wales. So that was all her. That was all done before we was even together. So even if I lived with her for a considerable amount of time, I'm not going to fight her for something that was already hers. I said this all along. Even before, probably before we were married, I'd never do that. I would never take away something that was hers. Not a chance. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it. That's just not me. Regardless of where I am now, I've got a van. That's my house. That's my home. That's fine. I'm happy with that. I made my choices. I could have fucking bought a house or something when I was younger, but I didn't. I never went down that route. Life never guided me in that direction. I had council places and I was living with girlfriends and just bobbing about without a problem. It didn't really cross my mind at the time to buy my own property, so that's why I didn't. With her, she did. She got an opportunity to buy it and she did. And I would never, ever in a million years fight her for that, for anything, because I don't want to. It's hers. She's worked for that. Nothing to do with me. Nothing. So that's why I let that go, And I hope she has a little bit of compassionate feelings for me about that. I hope she thinks it could have been a real dirty fucking divorce where people fight each other and it goes on forever. I don't want that. I don't want that. For me, the biggest pain that I'm going through is just losing her. And it wouldn't have mattered where we had lived, whether it was in a house, a flat, a tent, or my van. It would not have mattered. You know what I mean? It's all materialistic crap. I don't care. So same as the finances, I don't care. The thing that hurts me the most is the loss of her. Yeah. So nothing else matters. But like I said, there's a little bit of me that is happy because I've let go without a fight. As much as it's destroying me as a person, I'm not going to fight her for anything because I don't want that. Because I want her to be happy. And I really hope anyone that's watching this can understand where I'm coming from. I'm going to say it, I still love her, I miss her, I care for her deeply, and I think I will for, probably the rest of my life. Who knows? I don't know. And that makes me morally right. I've got to let her do what she needs to do without a fight. I need her to be happy, and I'll be happy when I know she's happy. Don't get me wrong, if she settles down with another man, it's going to hurt me, but I'm going to think of it as her happiness. Yeah, that matters to me. That really does matter to me. I hope she finds happiness again, and I hope she lives the best life that she can possibly live, and I'm just sorry that I wasn't able to give her that life. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say on that. So sorry if I babbled on too much. I do hope you understand where I'm coming from. So that's it. I'll speak to you tomorrow.